Ometeot, and welcome to this full moon energy forecast of June 5th. It's a full moon transit through Sagittarius, and it's a lunar eclipse. I am Magdalena Chandrakai, and for those of you who don't know me and my work, I am an energy communicator, and every full moon and new moon I tune in on the energies of our planet Luna to deliver an intuitive message of the energies that we're going through in these times and how that can help us navigate what we're feeling and experiencing right now, and maybe something that you want to use in your practice, in your meditation, to simply better navigate what you're feeling and what you're working with in your process right now. So if you would like to subscribe to these energy forecasts, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can go to my website bymaggie.com and subscribe there to get an email every time I post a new energy forecast and other intuitive articles and messages through that newsletter or that email. I also write a blog post that goes with this video, so if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, head over to my website bymaggie.com if you also want to read the energy forecast and tune into that. So I do say things that I don't write, and I do write things that I don't say. So if you like this media of text, do check that out too, and I would like to hear from you how you're working with these energies right now, how you're working with this energy forecast. It's so lovely to hear from you how you're doing in your process and in your meditation. So on my website you can also find more about my work. I offer soul communication and spiritual leadership trainings, as well as private mentoring, so you can read more about that on my website. I do want to share that I have a tractor with me here today. We start to work early at the same hours apparently, so it's a little buzzing in the background. I do hope you can hear me okay. Anyways, so how this works is that before I start this recording, I tune in a little on some themes around this full moon, and it is themes that are coming up for us already now before we enter the full moon and during this transit, and what we work with and birthing after. So how this shows up for you is, of course, individually. This is just energy interpretations. So I have quite a few themes for you today actually to go through, and as usual it's just several of these themes go together, intertwine. So we're just going to go through them and see what comes up. So the first thing I have right now is, don't get lost in daydreams or youthful play or lust as we go into, and we are in this youthful time of Gemini, and in the beginning of summer here in the northern hemisphere, and the beginning of the dark times in the southern hemisphere. We're in this time of lust in the beginnings. So try avoid getting lost in just this play and this lust. Of course, this is very important too, to be in lust and play, but don't get sidetracked. We are asked to work for our growth. So we need to still stay focused and do our work little every day, and combine this play and this work to be able to grow. And I'm talking about our individual growth and the individual responsibility we have to take us where we want to go, to the path, on the path towards the stars, where we're heading right now in our work and our mission, whatever that means for you. So we are asked to stay with our work for some time more and to focus on this mission. Because we are still in the vision, in the big commune vision I'm talking about here. We are still in that vision. We're not so practical yet about it, but we are still here in the big vision. So universe now asks us to work from where we are individually. And of course, that is always from the spiritual and energetic level. Right now, it's also very much from where we stand. So all these levels, from where we are at in our journey, we work individually. And from where we stand physically, we work individually towards and in this, the bigger vision, the collective vision. This is what we do. So your individual mission is very important to focus on right now for the collective vision, to where the collective is moving and going. And do stay with this mission. Do stay focused on your task. Nothing else. Don't get sidetracked again. A lot of interesting things are coming up around us and showing themselves in our path. But stay focused on your mission, the one task you are doing right now, and stay with your discipline around this, regardless how that looks. But keep your discipline to work, because this will keep you grounded in very uncertain times. So when you do stay with your mission and you're focused on this practice, this is what will keep you grounded in your body, in your feet right now, and this will keep you a little bit sane also, because it is quite a shaky and uncertain time. We might experience that we don't really know where we're heading, where we're going. So this discipline will keep you grounded, and just trust that process. So as with every full moon, we do release that we worked with at new moon. And I want to stress that now, because we were talking about communication at the new moon energy forecast. So what you worked with and what started to come up around that time regarding communication, how you communicate with yourself and others, to be able to eventually merge and meet others, we are now starting to release that to the world. So do little at a time, starting to release things that you've been working with from the beginning of this lunar cycle. And I do feel that is, for many of you, this is regarding to the mission, the thing that you're working on right now. The little releases. And with this also come, avoid starting anything new right now. And this goes for all of summer, the coming months. Do avoid starting new things and focus instead of finishing, tying up loose ends, finishing things that you've been working on for longer cycles and for this year. And right now, stick with your focus and your mission and use this time to finish. And you can do this parallel, but also when you do finish, start to structure instead and plan the next step, so you are ready to move into the next step when time has come. So you can now start to see these structures for the next step. And if you don't know the direction, ask for help, ask for direction, ask the universe, ask your guides in your meditation, where am I going? What is the next step of my journey? So you can start to structure and see it. And then again, if you haven't finished the things you're working on, do that first. Because we don't want to take on too much right now. We want to be kind to our nervous system. So do plan pauses. Whatever you are going through right now, whatever you're working with, do plan regular pauses in that process to be kind on your nervous system, to be able to do a little at a time. So don't take on too many things right now, because that would also eventually just lead up to not doing anything or just being overwhelmed. So just be kind on yourself. And this leads me to the next theme of moving, because we are moving. Even if you feel like you're on a standstill, you are actually moving right now. We are mentally moving. We are moving into the new forms and maybe even new structures that we have created for ourselves little at the time during this year. So the mind is moving into new perceptions, and the mind is adapting and changing. And even if you feel like, oh, nothing is happening, I can't feel that I'm moving, I can't feel the change, and the frustration is coming up, you are moving. The mind is slowly adapting, moving back and forth, and going into these new forms that you set up for yourself, and the new perceptions, individually and the collective change we have. So the mind is moving there. So it is happening, even if you feel like it isn't. And even if you feel like you're not doing anything, you are actually. You are always in this constant change and evolving. So just trust this process. Trust the process, and that the mind is adapting. This might take some time. We are in 3D with our bodies. So be kind again on yourself, on your body, and trust the process. Trust that things are happening. Don't force anything. Take just one thing at a time, one breath at a time. One breath at a time, one thing at a time. So the next theme is to be flexible and adaptable in your responses right now. Your responses to change, to sudden change, things that might change around you. Be flexible and adaptable to these in your responses, but yet stay sharp and present. Stick with your boundaries. So maybe you do need to take an extra breath and feel, how can I be present and sharp in this response to this change, and yet maybe flexible and adaptable, because it didn't fall out the way I expected it to, or the way I wanted it to be. And something is coming to me. Could this be something I can flow with and change with and adapt into, and yet stay with my boundaries, my integrity, and my focus? Or should I leave it? So this could mean learning new skills, especially around communication. This could mean both with others and ourselves. The communication, again, questioning my boundaries. How do I communicate with myself? Am I honoring myself when I respond and act to this change that come through me, through universe, through other people? But we do want to stay sharp and present, and I stress this because we don't want to lose important things right now. We don't want to lose our focus, as I talked about before, for instance, but also material things. We don't want to lose things, because this is a time for the trickster. Also, the scams and tricks might show up in some areas, and especially around communication. And what I feel is that we might see this online scams, and if something sounds too good to be true, they usually are. So be mindful with the things online. Right now, many people are working online, communicating online. We might be a little bit not so focused, not so grounded and sharp in our decisions. So do be mindful with this, what you're responding to, so you don't lose things. And the final theme right now is just a little bit of also wrapping all these up, because universe wants to ask us to trust in life's mysterious unfolding, and surrender to the process, surrender to the unknown. Just by focusing on your mission, this is where you can surrender to the unknown. We are in times of uncertainty, and we don't really know what's happening, what will happen next, what will the next 3 or 6 months or even a year look like. Are we going back to work as normal? What will change and how much? I do think that something we can be sure of is that things will change quite big, quite fast. And we are in this little bit of uncertainty and this aftermath, if you want to say so, for the coming months. 3 to 10 months we will be in and adapting to all of these changes that are happening in society regarding of what we have been going through already this year. So trust in life's mysterious unfolding and surrender to this unknown by staying grounded in your work. This would be a very good time to meditate on focus meditation, like Trataka meditation. You stay with a focus on a point, a focus point, that kind of meditation, to mentally stay focused and prepared. And it's also a good time to do inversions unless you're bleeding or are pregnant or injured or anything. You can add some inversions into your practice to again ground the mind and everything that's buzzing up here. The focus meditation practices and some inversions I would like to share and encourage. So maybe you want to play with that in your practice during this transit and a few days more. So thank you so much for tuning in with me today on this full moon energy forecast, June 5th, 2020. And I hope you will stay grounded and connected with your heart's mission. And I would love to hear from you, how you're doing, how you're feeling with this video. So do comment below. And if you feel the call, please share it freely with anyone you think might appreciate this video. And I will see you again in a couple weeks for the new moon energy forecast. So meanwhile, do subscribe to my channels, my Facebook, my YouTube, and my moon energy letter. And I will see you soon. So much love. Peace of the heart. Ometea.